Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a tutorial about how you can make tables and graphs in an Excel file. What I have here is a setup for the watering down your money lab here, kind of set up roughly as a table. Excuse me. A couple things you want to focus on first of all is having a title. You want to make sure your graph and table have titles. You'll notice that as I go over this, it says watering down your money droplets, and it kind of merges throughout the cells. If you want to turn all those cells into one, you highlight everything that you'd like to merge, and you go over here with this A with arrows to the side, and it says merge and center. So then I can merge those all so it becomes one cell. I'm going to do the same thing here with the Colombian coin value. Merge so they all become one. And then you'll notice I have trial 1, 2, and 3, and then I have my different Colombian coin values. What I'd like to do is I'd like to have an average on my graph down here on the bottom. And in order to do that, you click the box that you want to get the average of your earlier results on. Go up to this fx. It says insert function. What we're going to do is we're going to average. So you click on average. Then you need to highlight the numbers that you want to have the computer calculate. So I can take my cursor over here and highlight my trials 1, 2, and 3 for the 500 pesos, and then come over here and click OK. And magically, it'll calculate it for us already. So it's 59.33 drops is my average for all three of my trials. I'm going to quickly do that for the others. fx function average. Okay. Highlight my results, trial 1, 2, and 3, click OK, and let the computer do the work. And the last one, for the 100 pesos, click here, average, click OK, highlight the areas I want it to calculate, and then click OK. Okay, so now I've got trial 1, 2, 3, and an average for my water drops on my Colombian coins. What I want to do now is make a graph of that information. So I'm going to highlight only the data. We can insert the x-axis and y-axis labels in just a little bit. You go up to this little chart picture, which is called Chart Wizard. Click on that. And it takes us to step 1 of 4. I would like to make a column graph. I'm going to make the simple kind. You can do a fancy 3D or a different version down here, but I'm just going to do a simple version. Go to next. Okay, so this first screen, it says your data range, and all that it has down here, and you can see it's blinking, the highlighted area that we have on our graph, which it's done for us already. Now it's very important that you look at your data and you see where your bars are so you can get an understanding of what the computer graphed for you. First, you'll see there's a 1, 2, 3, and 4 across the bottom, and you'll see there's a series 1, series 2, and series 3. So if we go over here and look at our table that we made, you can see that the 1, 2, 3, these series correlate with our coin values. So as you can see, this first one right here, this light blue line, is my first trial of the 500 pesos at 56 drops. This second one is my next trial or second trial at of 500 pesos at 60 drops, and then 62, and then this whole area over here is my average. Okay? Now we need to label this so that we can have our x-axis. X-axis runs across the bottom. Y-axis runs vertically. A good saying I like to use is, why do you go so high? So that's the y-axis going vertically up and down. This will be the number of drops. This will be trial 1, trial 2, trial 3, and number 4 is our average. Okay? There's a couple things you can manipulate in your key over here. That's what series 1, 2, and 3 is. You see series 1, you can click here and give it a name. Series 1, let's give that 500 coin. Highlight series 2, and you see it changes name here. Series 2 is 200 coin. Go to series 3. Series 3 is my 100 coin. So we've got that taken care of. Now, what we'd like to do is we'd like to label these a little more clear so that it's easier for us to understand rather than have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is category x-axis labels. Anytime you see this little graph, this little figure, if you click on it, it'll minimize this table and take us to work on the table that we created in Excel. So we'll click here, minimizes it. Now you can just go and highlight. We want it to be trial 1, 2, 3, and the average. Click back to this figure, and it'll take us back to where we want. And now you'll notice it says 1, 2, 3, and average. I'm pretty happy with that. In the next slide, or once we go to the next button, we'll be able to name this x-axis, name the y-axis, and give a title to our graph. So let's go to next. Oops, excuse me, I got one too many. So here we are. Under titles, it says chart title. Well, I've given a label to my table title here. My table has a title, so I'm just going to use that for my graph, which is the number of water drops on each Colombian coin at room temp. You want to be as specific as you can be. And then you'll see right here the title shows up. My x-axis, which runs across the bottom, I'm going to title that trials. Okay. And the y-axis, why do you go so high? That is what? The number of water drops. Okay. And we can click here, and there it shows up. Alright. If you wanted to, it is here that you can add a little graphics. You can add different things into your table, grid lines. You can put these extra lines in vertically if you'd like, more lines. I like to just keep it simple with what they provide, or you can get rid of all the lines if you'd like. I'm going to leave the Y major grid so you can just see the tens. So this is 60, 50, 40, 30. Alright. Legend, that's the key. You can move it around. Do you want it on the bottom? Do you want it on the center, top, right, or the left? I'm going to keep it over on the right. Data labels, I think we're okay there. Data table, we don't need to show the table because we'll have that over here already. So that's all we need to do. We're on step 3 of 4, so we click next. This asks where you'd like us to print it. Let's print it right on the sheet that we're working on here. And then you click on finish, and that's where it will produce it. You can then take this chart and move it wherever you'd like on your graph, and then you can grab your corners and make it a little bit bigger, and in order so that you have a nice sizable graph that you can print nicely so you can see the size of it, you can play with the corners, go to File, Print Preview, and then you can get just to print just the picture of the graph itself. The only way that it'll work is if it's highlighted. See how these little boxes shows up? That means it's highlighted. If I click off here and now do print preview, it'll show it just as a sheet as it'll print off in the document itself, and I can close that. Last thing I want to show you is how you can kind of enhance and play with your tables. Oh, excuse me. Play with your tables. If you'd like, and you'd like to add lines to your table, if you go up here, pull this down, you've got the shaded areas, little dots means it's not going to draw a bar, it'll be clear. You can put all borders, click, and it'll make little lines around all of them. Okay, then you can also, if you want, change your fonts sizes, I believe. You can change your lettering here like that if you'd like, and so on and so forth. So that's a good way to make a nice looking graph and table. I hope this helps. Unfortunately, this is only in the version of Windows 2003. Under the new version, you have different menus and a different look. you can do the same things, it just looks different and it takes a little more time to find where things are. Hopefully this helps. That's all I've got for you now.